how's it going? You're on the treadmill with me still. We're doing Talk About It Tuesday. I just did a whole talk about the situation in America and, what the fuck needs to change, basically. More asking, are we going to just talk about it forever, or are we going to fucking fix it? So if you're interested in that, check that one out. This one is for my ladies. It's not so much about women's rights because we're all well aware that it's fucked right now and it needs to change. And that goes along with my other saying from Shout Out to Women. Whitney! She's walking with me on my treadmill. This is my workout shirt. Get my Whitney Houston zone. Anyway, this is more about repeating bad, toxic patterns that we really want to dead in this community. I know I'm an odd one. I've always been a little prude. I've always been more, it's just my personal preference. I don't judge people who show their bodies a lot, If I liked my body better, I probably would show it more. But I'm not uncomfortable with other women showing their bodies. And I think as women, we need to get better at that. Because I know that through my eating disorder journey, a lot of my issues came from looking at like models and people on TV or people in my area that were very pretty and had nice bodies, and it was somehow like guilted and ingrained in our brain like that's what beautiful is, that's what sexy is, that's what men want. And they're still doing that to these little girls today, And even with men, like look at boy bands. They always class each member of the boy band to a specific stereotype of what women find men to be sexy for. They do the same thing. It's like perpetuating the same garbage generation after generation. So I really just want to stop, demonizing women that dress. Like, I get upset when little girls are at concerts or little girls like young women that are out there showing their bodies, and then I have to check myself. I came from a generation where if a woman, there was always Madonna and stuff, you had to be a certain level, but if a woman just walked around in a fucking thong bathing suit in my day, they were labeled a whore, they were labeled easy. And the fact that these girls are comfortable, I don't know exactly if it's comfortable or if that's what is expected of them, because Hollywood is a very dark and evil fucking tyrant that needs to, I think that's why it's getting its ass handed to them lately. I'm not saying film or TV or music or acting or anything like that needs to die. I'm very much an artsy person, but their chokehold on what they project to the world is why they're getting served and why it's going to get harder to be a celebrity. You're going to have to live what you preach. You can't just project an image. You can't have secrets anymore. And that's leading back into this, like, if a woman goes on, I want any woman in this world to put on what makes them comfortable, regardless of their size, regardless of what they look like. I want women to be comfortable doing that, and I want other women to just accept that woman without judgment. And I work every day to fix that, because that's another thing we are taught. If you show too much of your body, it projects a certain type, or it's not appropriate. Granted, if you're a teacher and you show up in a G-string, that's inappropriate. You're a teacher. So yes, there are standards in a professional setting on how you could dress, and I agree with that, because people who are, caring for others or working with children, you don't want to be exposing. It really depends on where you work, I guess. But and the rest of the world and the rest of society, we have this freedom to express ourselves, and that includes what we put on our body, or how we do our face, or how we do our makeup, or if we don't do makeup or hair or nails, or like, just be who you are, and as other women, be supportive of that. And I think women in nature are very gossipy, and when it comes to inside communities, a lot of shunning from other people does come from women. And I'm not saying men aren't guilty of it, or they don't gossip, but I'm talking about when it comes to public shaming, it's oftentimes women projecting it, judging other women for how they parent, or how they're a wife, or how they project themselves in society, or if they drink too much, or if they go out too much, or, you know, if they work too much and they don't spend as much time with, there's always, this seems to be this, every generation is taught this, like, this is what a woman is, this is what a woman's supposed to do. And of course you have women that are always going to rebel, women that don't want kids, women that marry other women. Like, we've always objected in some way. I don't think we willingly succumb to this. I think it's like smashed into your brain, because I can remember, you know, I'm not calling anybody out, because my generation is guilty of this too, but I remember, like, my mom and aunts be like, oh my God, there's so-and-so, she's never home with her kids, or oh my God, she's sleeping with that guy, or she has more men than underwear, like, just talking judgment. And it's become this social thing, like, when women get together, and again, I'm guilty of this too, I want to change it, that's why we're talking about it. Just notice in your life how much you yourself are looking at women, judging them inward, and like, listen around you to other, it's like crazy when you really sit down and look at it and you pay attention, like, why are we like this to each other? We're in a man's world, we have no rights as far as we can fucking tell at this point. So why are we so hard on each other when the world is already so hard on us? And I think that's what they want. They want us, you know, to get in a room and be catty. And I think that's why women don't get along. It's because we're projected into these roles and we're always rebelling. Like, we look at, like, there's people that want to be mothers like me. Like, I come from a home where activism was big. Women can do whatever they want. Women should work. And yet here I am longing in my soul to be a stay-at-home mom. But I would feel like I failed at some point in my life because I'm not a career person. Because I have the right to have a career, but I'm choosing to be a mom, I'm judged for it. I'm not contributing to the household. I don't make money. I'm riding off my husband's coattails. Like, those are all judgments now, today, that housewives get. And back in the day, it was, you don't have, it's not your place to work. Your place is at home. It's like we're always being dictated what our place is, so much so that we do it to each other. And that's the whole, I feel like it was organized. Organized, because why did women get rights in the first place? We started noticing shit. We started talking. We started working together. Why do they always pit other women against other women when it comes to leadership? Or when it comes to any kind of organization? They always want to put two women against each other. Why? Because what happens when we ride together so hard that they can't fight it? We got our rights. They were forced. And remember, in this country, every slave, not that slavery is okay, but every slave got their right to speak and their right to own land because they had a dick before us. Hundreds of years, thousands of years from a slave getting their rights before women got their rights. They want to suppress us. And that pitting against each other and that teaching us to judge is all part of their grand scheme. I need to fix it. I need to fix it within myself so I can teach my daughter not to do that. So I can teach my daughter to teach her kids not to do that. This is how we fight back. become that rope that's not tethered, but braided together. A braided together rope is strong, a frayed one breaks. They've been breaking us since women were invented. I'm fighting against it. Please help me.